Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons. We're trying to take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgier kind of content, hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. And definitely check out our good friends at Dice Legion. For all your ttrpg needs, they have dice bags, everything you would want, dice accessories, and some cool looking dice. Use the promo code SINISTER to get 10% off all of your purchases. Definitely check them out. And without further ado, let's jump into this week's video, The Reborn. The Reborn come to us from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. They are almost perfect, in my opinion, lore-wise. They are any character you've played that has become reborn. You are like a zombie, a Frankenstein monster, a physical entity possessed by multiple spirits. You can go a lot of ways with this. It's very cool, very thematic. If you have any limbs, they are replaced by phantasmal energy, which is cool. I like the idea of maybe you lost an arm, so maybe you just have like a whole bunch of belt buckles and like a glove tied to your arm, so the whole thing's just like tied up real tight, and you don't really let anybody see that because it's kind of your shame and it kind of gives you away. And you definitely don't want lawful good paladins or clerics coming down after you. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this, and you can build this off of any other lineage that exists in the game, and we will cover that very soon. In the Van Richten's Guide, there's a lot of things that they give you for faded memories and your reborn origins. A lot of great things that you can pull from to create your own character. It's very, very flavorful. Definitely check that out. Just reading some of the descriptions can really give you this wonderful character almost right off the bat. It's very, very cool, and it gives you a couple of ideas about what to make your character like, how to build certain little nuances with your character, and how to envelop this great depth of waking up knowing you're undead and not knowing what your life was, and incorporating that into making you into a character. You wake up and you have a dagger. Is it yours? Do you know how to use it? What do you do with it? Maybe you were a thief, maybe you're an assassin, maybe you used to be a cleric. All you know is you got to use that dagger to survive now, and it definitely gives you that reason to become maybe more roguish. Maybe that's the way you go, because that's the only thing you have left to go on, and you can't tell if it's familiar or not, which is great. You can create your own memento type mystery within your character just to become who you are. It's a great hook for DMs to slowly keep pulling you and keeping you entrenched into the campaign and involved in what's going on, and pull your character in a multitude of directions. It's a great way to reel you guys in if you've gone way too far off the map. Little trinkets that bring you back to where you're supposed to be. It's a great concept. Definitely check into that. Definitely use that to bring your character to the forefront. Really, really round out who your character is. Using those and incorporating your background and incorporating where your lineage first began with your species is a great way to fully develop a backstory for this character with very, very heavy guidance and a lot of open ideas for you. First and foremost, you do still count as humanoid for all of your abilities. I wish you counted as undead, but that's probably really problematic in case you encounter a lawful good paladin or a cleric. So registering as humanoid is probably in your best benefit. You could be medium or small, though I don't know why you would ever be small. Again, I hate the small races, so that's probably my thing and not yours. Your walk speed is 30 feet. Important to note, you do not have dark vision. Not going to happen. Even if you do start with a race that starts with dark vision, which I'm going to get to right now, because of the ability Ancestral Legacy. If you replace a race with this lineage, you can keep the following elements of that race: any skill proficiency you gain from it, and any climbing, flying, or swim speed you gain from it. If you don't keep those elements, you can choose this lineage at character creation, and you gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. That means you do not have dark vision. And let's normalize not needing dark vision. It does dynamically change the landscape of campaigns when you actually do rely on regular sight. things get spookier and scarier, and I do love spooky and scary. There's nothing worse than only having a small field of vision and having you walk and your party members just huddled with you, and you're slowly trying to inch forward and trying to see if you can pick up on sounds or little like glimmers of light in the distance, or maybe you don't know or you hear something, so you drop the torch and back up into the shadows and wait to jump on your enemy. Very, very cool things can be done. It's a lot harder to have those kinds of scarier moments when everyone has dark vision. Don't get me wrong, I do tend to play a lot of subclasses, classes, and lineages that do have dark vision and or superior dark vision. So I do end up getting to never be in this scenario. But I love the idea, and whenever I get the chance to play without dark vision, I really got to take more advantage of that and really challenge myself. Deathless nature. You have escaped death, a fact represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned or diseased, and you have resistance to poison damage. You have advantage on death saving throws. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state during which you retain consciousness. Deathless nature is really a lot of different things. Just having advantage on being diseased or any kind of being poisoned scenario and resistance to poison damage is a big buff. You encounter that a lot as a player. Advantage on death saving throws is awesome. It's a very intricate thing. It's very cool that you have to be put down forcibly in order to be put down. I think it's cool considering all the other detriments of being an undead person. Really wish they left you being undead, because this would definitely cancel that out, or at least feel better. Not being able to sleep means that you can be sentry to your party. You can stand watch while they all rest, and contemplate the memories that you can't figure out. It's a lot of cool things wrapped into one. Not needing to eat, drink, or breathe is great, because if you ever find yourself in a scenario where there's water that isn't infested with all sorts of dangerous animals, you could hide there for days if you need to, in order to get out of a bad situation or to stop somebody. Not needing to eat or drink means that you are fine in the forest and in the dungeons and deserts where you haven't seen food for days, or extreme survival kind of campaigns. This gives you a great way out of that. It's very cool that you don't have to breathe. Usually not needing to eat or drink is one thing, but breathing is another. So anything that involves spell saves about breathing, you don't need to worry about. So you're fine on that end. Knowledge of a past life. You temporarily remember glimpses of the past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago or a previous life. Whenever you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add the number on the d6 to the check. You can use this feature of number times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This is a great adventuring skill because you can still pop on guidance and things like that on top of it and really give yourself a huge variety in order to succeed on checks. Depending on what these checks are and depending on what you're doing, a perception check in a dungeon can mean the difference between life or death. An investigation check in a puzzle might save you hours on end, or the correct deception check or insight check or persuasion can make quite a difference in your campaign depending on who you're talking to or what's going on. Sometimes pleading for your life just needs that little extra 1 or 2 in order to make it work, but this is a great way to incorporate that, and you can use it a bunch of times because of your proficiency bonus based on a long rest. Our final thoughts on the Reborn. I love starting out just as Reborn. To be honest, I think that's a more unique way to play a character. You can always do things to pick up other skills and other abilities, or if you really wanted to look like another lineage, use that in order to be your base for being a Reborn. I like the idea of just being able to be undead. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. I love soulless zombies. I love the opportunity to be that way and still regain who you were. I feel like that's its own reward, and going through an entire campaign and just learning that you are this person. and then making the decision to return to that or not is it's like a perfect ending for a huge character arc. Because what if your character was evil, and you go through this entire ordeal uncovering who you are, and it's a constant disappointment or fear, or maybe you're trying to disprove it, or maybe you think that's what your purpose was, to clear your name, and you find it's true. Now what do? You were given this chance. You're still moving for reasons you can't explain. Do you right those wrongs? Do you become good? Or do you just gracefully realize how happy you are knowing the truth, and you decide to continue? What if you're Strahd? You know, like, what if you're playing a Ravenloft campaign and that's what you are, and you're slowly becoming this circumstance where you're understanding it? It's a great way to do that, because that life is over. All that power is gone, and now you're just rebuilding as yourself, and maybe that's a cool different character, or it's one of those circumstances where you could have been good or you could have been bad, and you give yourself the opportunity to be good and change, or be bad from being good, realizing that your god had lied to you, that this is punishment from serving them faithfully, and now it's your destiny to destroy that church. Like, you get these great opportunities, and they're so easily plucked from the air around it, just by not knowing enough, by knowing you love something and now you don't know why you don't, by feeling just hurt by technology. You're stitched together from multiple different people, like you're Frankenstein and you hate it. So many great ways to be a character and to connect in a weird way with other party members, and really build that super dark and edgy kind of backstory where obviously everything you loved is dead because you're dead. Awesome. You have such great validity in whatever insane character concept you want to come up with, and it's cool that you can do that. And it's a lot of fun trying to make yourself as dark and scary as possible and still trying to be the hero, and making your character grow in that way and becoming more and more like your party members, or not, or just changing to get stronger, or just learning to now live amongst the living and trying to take those steps so that way others don't kill you. All being said, I love the undead so much. I believe this was a gift perfectly wrapped for me. Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft is one of my favorite books. I love a lot of the things in there. It's all dark, it's all creepy, it's all evil, it's all scary, it's all horror themed stories. It's guides to how to write horror themed stories and create villains that are the various horror tropes. Definitely check out that book. I love the idea of being undead. It's a dream that I constantly end up trying to play in all games that I play. But it's fun and it's exciting, and you can do a lot with it. And I love the availability to just grab other abilities and other classes and still be a reborn version of that. Like, you're not just human. You can do so much. And it's very, very fun. But that being said, if you made it all the way to this part of the video, we want to thank you so much. Definitely check us out on Patreon. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Share. Tell us about your reborn characters. If you need dice, definitely check out Dice Legion. Just see what they have. They have a lot of great stuff. Definitely worth checking out, and use the promo code Sinister. And thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.